All right, guys, let's be real. I am not a social media enthusiast. I am not super tech savvy. I try to stay off of social media as much as possible so that I can remain present with my family and with my belief system and just with people and forming community with those people. But I feel like this is important. So that's why I'm taking time to do this. I have a husband. I have a 10-month-old daughter. They are my world. I have a part-time job that has many different facets with that. So I stay busy. And why am I taking time to do this? Let me explain. So over the past few years, I've had a lot of different health issues going on, right? And I'm sure you can relate because I'm sure you have your own health issues too. It all started in 2018, and I had been dealing with a condition called interstitial cystitis, aka it's a bladder condition that makes you have UTI symptoms without the actual infection. So I was experiencing pain with urination, cramping, and sometimes even peeing blood. That's not good for anybody. And so I had been dealing with that for 4 years. And the only solution that I could find was taking cranberry pills 1 to 3 times a day. And it depended on what my diet looked like that day, just everything, my water intake. My life revolved around my IC. And I couldn't seem to get it under control. I had taken out caffeine. I was drinking loads of water, which is good for you. So at least that was a benefit. But it wasn't until my friend Jenny introduced something to me that totally changed my life. She gave me this oil roller ball. Y'all, when you talk about skeptic, I was first on the list. I am not a girl who's into fads or doing the hot new thing just because it's hot and cool. I am simple as they come and not into all that, right? Because it's not important to me. And so when she kept talking to me about oils, I was like, girl, you're barking up the wrong tree. Just stop. So I would just, be very gracious and, anyway, I wasn't biting. She gave me this oil roller ball or this roller, and I tried it and was like, I am a sciencey person. I have a background in psychology and I'm an occupational therapist, so I like reading research articles and I like understanding the chemistry of things and understanding all of that. So I was like, this is a placebo effect because it worked. Once I applied it, within 10 minutes of me applying it, I had no symptoms. It's like, okay, that's all in my head. So I did it again and it worked again. I'm like, this literally is in my head. I have fooled my body into getting rid of these symptoms. So I kept testing it out for weeks, and every single time I used it, it was helping eliminate all these symptoms that I otherwise wasn't able to mitigate. And so I was like, there might be something to this. So I started doing all the research with the different oils that were in the roller and about interstitial cystitis, even more so than I already had. And I realized this is a game changer. This has just changed my life. I couldn't leave the house without a bottle of cranberry pills and a giant jug of water. I mean, everything was affected by this. And now I have something that can help support my body with this. So that is enough passion in one story. But then there's another one. So that summer, we were in the process of moving. I was in grad school, so I was doing this really hard fieldwork rotation. And I didn't realize how much stress my body was under. And then I had this weird body reaction to where I felt sick to my stomach all the time, and like it felt like a knife was jabbing my insides. And so I'm like, I'm not a doctor's girl. I don't go to the doctor hardly ever unless it's something serious. And I ended up at urgent care for this condition. And the physician there pressed really hard down on my stomach when I was laying down, which, was not good. And she referred me to a general surgeon because she told me that my gallbladder needed to be removed. I don't have time to have my gallbladder removed. I don't have the money to have my gallbladder removed. I'm a student. Don't you understand this? And so I went to the surgeon appointment, and basically he was like, yeah, we'll just keep an eye on it, and so you might end up going under. I'm like, tight okay on that one. And so by that point, I had purchased this starter kit with Young Living, and still a little skeptical at this point, but all at the same time, I was really excited to learn and get on that journey of educating myself how oils could change my life. So there was this oil in the kit. I look over there because that's where all my oils are. There was an oil called Digise. How the heck do I use it? So I flipped through my book, and I'm looking through and I'm reading all about it. And it's an oil that supports the digestive system. I'm like, well, I feel like it's all in there. I mean, I took 9 weeks of hardcore anatomy and cadavers and all of that stuff. I knew that something was happening with my digestive system. So I put a couple drops in a veggie capsule and took it. And I did that for like 3 times a day for a couple days, and realized my symptoms started decreasing. So I did that for about a week, and my symptoms were gone completely. I'm not kidding you guys. This is not a sales pitch. I'm getting chills talking about this because this is the second time that I have had something significant happen while using these oils. And I'm like, okay. Like I'm a believer, and I don't believe in like magic and whatever, but I'm like, dang, there is something to this. So that's story number 2. And you might be sensing a lot of passion. I feel like this is the buildup, right? Because at this point, I am on this journey towards ditching the toxins in our home, switching out all of our cleaning products, getting rid of our candles. I was a candle junkie, mind you. Just doing all of these simple switches that were making small effects in our house. And so I'm really on fire for this. So here comes the good stuff. This is where I get excited to share this. Because this is the hard stuff. This is the stuff that is real, and it hits home. So I, at that point, realized that I had been using a topical hydrocortisone cream every single day when I got out of the shower for eczema. I would use it around my lips, I would use it on my neck and the insides of my arms, and then just occasional flare-ups, right, like on my face or my back or wherever else for eczema. And I'd been using this cream every single day as soon as I got out of the shower for at least 10 years. That's as far back as I can remember. I'm sure I used it before then, but I know it was for sure 10 years of prolonged steroid usage. This stuff is sold over the counter. I was going to Martin's and getting this stuff, and I was just using it, and I realized this is probably not good, because every time, like if I would have skipped a shower day and gone like a day without showering, I would get this reaction. It was like my skin would get red and like a little like moist and uncomfortable, and it's like, okay, I gotta shower. You know, that's an effect of me being dirty. No, that was an effect of me not using the steroid cream that day. And that was showing that my body was becoming dependent, or not becoming, that was long far gone. It was dependent on this cream. And I had no idea. And it had been about a year that I noticed some like discoloration with my lips. Like my lips would be really blue or just really pale all the time. And people would like point it out to me, and I'm like, I just have poor circulation. It's fine. No. I believe that it was the effects of using steroid cream all that time. So I started doing some research and started looking up, what would this mean to just stop cold turkey? I'm sure there's an oil for me to use that would help substitute the cream. And what I realized is I have to go through withdrawal before my body can be independent and not be dependent on this cream anymore. And so the reality kind of hit. Oh my gosh, this is about to get bad. But I had no idea how bad until after it started. So I had found this gal, her website online. She went through withdrawal for a month and then it was great. So I was like, I can do a month. So I timed it during a break in grad school. So I gradually started weaning and still at the same time ditching toxic products in our house and swapping them with affordable and really clean products. So that was October of 2018 was the last day that I used hydrocortisone cream ever. I've never gone back. And to say that that process wreaked havoc on my body is a severe understatement. I think it's worth sharing pictures at some point, whether I put them on this video or put them in another post. People need to see this. What happens when you unknowingly use a small little cream that your body then cannot live without. And the effects were terrible, traumatic, devastating, shameful, debilitating, embarrassing. I'm getting chills talking about it because it was hard. I couldn't leave the house. At one point, literally that Thanksgiving, my face was like 3 times the size that it is, and it was red, and it was oozing, otherwise known as weeping. TSW community, you know what that means, and you just got chills hearing that word. My face would weep and crust over and weep and crust over to where I literally had to talk like this and had to mash up my food to even be able to put it in my mouth to maintain my food intake. It did that with my arms, my stomach, my legs, my back, my head. I was losing hair. It did that for an entire month just with my lips. So January of 2019, I had 15 days that month that I ingested all of my meals through a straw because I couldn't open my mouth. I lost 25 pounds, which you guys will see. I'm a petite woman. So that was very significant. And I had to maintain life. I was still doing fieldwork placements. I was doing my doctoral project. I was, still maintaining our community engagements and not priorities, well, they are, but obligations and just trying to live life. It was the hardest thing that I have ever gone through. And I have given birth naturally to a beautiful baby girl. And this process was way more traumatic and way harder than giving birth naturally. that gives you any context. So I'll share pictures later because I want to get to the good stuff. So I had lost 25 pounds. I was living a completely vegan, gluten-free, sugar-free, nightshade-free diet, no toxins that I was putting on my body or in our home. I was serious. I had to get my body back to a state of homeostasis just to be normal. So that took a long time. And fast forward a little bit through that journey, and I feel passionate about sharing another post later, specifically about steroid withdrawal. Fast forward to June 2019. I've graduated grad school. I go to my yearly OBGYN appointment, and my physician said, you have to have a period. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. I had no period for 6 months because of my weight and what, the steroid withdrawal process was doing to my body. So she said, you have to get a period. I'm going to prescribe you something. I said, I won't take it. I'm sorry. I've been going through this process. I can't do that to my body. And she said, you have to do something because it's going to affect your bone health. And I'm like, you can prescribe it all day long. I'm not going to go get it filled. She said, you need a synthetic progesterone because if you don't have a period, it's going to affect your bone health and, things are going to get really bad. So I left that appointment very diligent, very steadfast in where I stood on the matter. And I started looking up, simple natural alternatives for what my body needed. So Young Living has this product called Progessence Plus. And I was like, I have no idea what this is, but it says it's a plant-based progesterone. We're gonna give it a shot. So I got it. Mind you, I was still having skin problems, so I had to be really careful of applying it, but I applied it once a day for about 3 weeks, and I was like, this is not working. Sorry, low power mode, probably because I'm talking too much. It's fine, we're great. So I was like, this isn't working. I haven't gotten a period. Like, Young Living fail, right? I've had other positive testimonials. This one just didn't work for me, and that's okay. I'll just go back to the drawing board. So it was that was June, end of June, and I just started a brand new job right out of grad school, literally 3 weeks after I graduated. And in August, I started feeling like really sick all the time. You know exactly where I'm going with this. Feeling sick all the time and just not having an appetite and just feeling super tired. Really heightened sense of smell. Just not feeling myself. And so my husband and I were about to leave for a road trip to Tennessee, which is where I'm from. I love Tennessee. And I took a test, a pregnancy test. And sure enough, we were expecting our little girl. Progessence Plus worked. Didn't have a period, but I was ovulating before I had a period. So, all that to say, y'all, I am not a salesperson. That is not my passion. I have a lot of other passions. That is not one of them. What I am passionate about is educating people on toxin-free living, sharing my story, hopefully helping somebody else, because if it weren't for every single influence in my life throughout the past 3 years, I would not be where I am today. I would still be using cortisone cream. I would still be using toxic, dirty, nasty stuff in our home. My daughter and my husband would be exposed to who knows what, causing all sorts of stuff. I'm not a salesperson, but golly, am I passionate about sharing my story and hopefully hopefully, I will help one person on their journey to healthy living, living a toxin-free lifestyle, and learning how they can use natural alternatives to support their body systems, right? We all have something. We all have something going on. No matter who you are, what age you are, it doesn't matter. Everybody has something. And I believe full-heartedly that we can form a relationship, we can have that dialogue, we can be a strong community of people who all are aiming for the same thing, toxin-free living. Join me on this journey. Connect with me. I would love to hear your story. I would love to hear from you. And y'all are definitely going to be hearing more from me because I have a lot to say. I have a big journey that's in my past and so much more to look forward to in my future. Join me as we do this together. Take care.